Hello my dear students, welcome to today's YouTube lecture. In today's lecture I am going to discuss about the rate of heat transfer through a spherical body. So in my previous lecture I have discussed the heat transfer through a cylinder, through a variable area. So first we consider the cylinder. So today I am actually considering the spherical body. So here you can see I have got a sphere. So we have a sphere, and in sphere, like, this is the outer radius and this is the inner radius, and actually in this sphere I am considering a thin spherical shell of inner radius r, and its thickness I am considering as delta r. Delta r is the thickness of this spherical shell, thin spherical shell, and this outer sphere is at temperature T0, that's T outer, and this Ti is the inner temperature. So here I am considering so the rate of heat transfer through this spherical shell will be calculated, will be determined in the same way as we did in the case of the cylinder. So I am considering a sphere. Basically I am considering a spherical shell, and whose inner radius is r. It has got a thickness of delta r. So, and this full sphere, actually it has got the outer radius is r0 and its inner radius is ri, which are maintained at temperatures T0 and Ti respectively. So if I write rate of heat transfer through spherical shell, through thin spherical shell at radial position r, so what will be the rate of heat transfer? It will be area multiplied by the flux. So that actually gives you the rate of heat transfer. So in the case of sphere, what is the area? It's 4 pi r square, and flux will be qr at the radial position r. Let's call this equation first. And similarly, rate of heat transfer, heat out of this thin spherical shell, this is rate of heat, we can say it is heat in because it's going inside, and then we have rate of heat out of the thin spherical shell at r plus delta r. So what will be the rate of heat transfer that will go out? So we can write it, it will be equal to, similarly it will be area 4 pi r square and qr, and it will be at the radial position r plus delta r. So call this equation 2. Now what will happen, since we are considering this as a steady state system, so at steady state, so we are saying that it's a heat transfer through a steady state sphere, which means that at steady state, if we consider this system to be under steady state conditions, at steady state your heat input must be equal to heat output. So there will be no accumulation of the heat, because at steady state the accumulation term will be 0. So we can write 4 pi r square qr at r, it must be equal to 4 pi r square qr at r plus delta r. So these two terms must be equal to, at steady state conditions there will be no accumulation of the heat inside the sphere. Whatever heat will go, it will go in and it will come out. Or you can write this 4 pi r square, this can be qr at r plus delta r minus qr at r, it must be equal to 0. Now what, since this 4 pi is constant, so it will cancel out, or you can write it, and this r square it can go inside, it will be r square, this will also be here r square. So we can then take the limit, delta r tending to 0, and using the definition of the derivative function we can write it r square qr at r plus delta r minus r square qr at r divided by delta r, it must be equal to 0. Or you can from equation 4, call this equation 4, Now from equation 4, what we can write is, we can write d by dr r square qr, it must be equal to 0. That's this equation 5. Now integrating equation 5, we will integrate this equation 5. Integrating equation 5, we can write r square qr is equal to constant, or let's call this constant c1. Let's say this constant is c1. So this is equation 6. So r square qr, it must be equal to c1. Now we know we can take this qr is equal to minus k dt by dr. Now this equation 7, this is according to the Fourier's law of heat conduction, which we have already discussed earlier. Fourier's law of heat conduction. So we can use this qr here. We can write r square in place of qr. We can write minus k dt by dr equal to c1. Or what we can do here, we can do the separation of the variables. So we can apply variable separation of variables. We can separate the variables here. So from equation, I will call this equation 8. So from equation 8, I will do the variable separation, and we will try to separate the variables on two sides. I can actually find dt by dr is equal to minus c1 by r square. This will be k. So now this will be my equation 9. If I try to integrate this equation, integrating equation 9, we'll integrate this equation because we want to find the temperature distribution inside the sphere. How we can find the temperature distribution? That is the radial temperature distribution across the radius. So if I try to integrate this equation, so when I integrate it, so it will be d. So I can write it like here, dt is equal to minus c1 by k r square dr. So this equation I can integrate. I can write t is equal to minus c1 by k 1 by r square. If you try to integrate it, it will be minus 1 by r, its integration, plus c2. So this c2 is again the constant of integration, or I can write it like c1 by k r plus c2. This equation I will call equation 12. Now c1 and c2 are both integration constants. So c1 and c2 are the integration constants. So how can you find these two integration constants? Now c1 and c2 are integration constants. So they can be found by using boundary conditions. So we have to apply the boundary conditions. So what will the boundary conditions here? So we can have two boundary conditions. First will be at r is equal to ri, that's inner radius, t will be equal to ti. The second boundary condition will be at r is equal to r outer, that's r0, t must be equal to t outer. So we have to apply these two boundary conditions here in order to find the value of c1 and c2, that is the integration constants. So if I first apply first boundary condition, that's r, it's called r equal to ri, so I should get ti is equal to c1 by k ri plus c2, this first. So let's call this equation 13, and second will be t0 at r equal to r naught, t0 is equal to c1 by k r0 plus c2. Now I have got two equations, equations 13 and equation 14. They are two equations, and I have two equations in two variables. So here I can easily find c1 and c2 using equations 13 and 14. So there are two equations in two variables, so you can easily find these two values. So here you can find, now from equations 13 and 14 we can find C1 and C2. Now if I try to find here, now I can find, if I try to solve these equations, so what I can do is I can just subtract those two equations. So if I subtract these, so I can write Ti minus T naught is equal to, the C2 and C2 will cancel out, so I can write C1 by K Ri minus C1 by K R naught. So if I try to, so I can just write here C1, it will be C1 by K 1 by Ri minus 1 by R naught, it will be equal to Ti minus T naught. So it will be C1 by K, this will be R naught minus Ri divided by R naught Ri, which will be equal to Ti minus T naught. So from here you can write C1 is equal to K Ti minus T naught also this will be R naught Ri divided by, it will be R naught minus Ri. So this should be the value of the first integration constant. So this will be, I will call this, let's suppose equation 14. This will be the value of the first integration constant C1. So when you find C1, so you can put the value of C1 in the earlier equation that I've shown. So from there you can find the other integration constant easily. So I can find here, using C1 I can find C2 easily. So our C2, that's integration constant, C2 will be equal to Ti minus T naught, this will be R naught by R naught minus Ri. So this is my second integration constant. Let's call this equation 15. So these are two integration constants, C1 and C2. So now once you have found the two integration constants, so then you can actually find the value of T. So therefore you can find T is equal to, what's T is equal to Ti minus T naught. You can from earlier equations you can see, you can just put the value of C1 and C2 in those equations and you can come out with Ti minus T naught, this is R naught divided by R naught minus Ri, and this will be 1 minus Ri by R. So this T equation will give you the temperature distribution inside the sphere. So this equation 16 gives the temperature distribution inside the sphere. So you can see here this Ti is known, T naught is known, R naught and Ri they are already known. Only things you have here are, that's the radial position. So in this sphere, at any radial position R, you can find the value of the temperature. That's how much temperature is at that particular point. So once you have found this, now we actually want to know the rate of heat transfer. What is the rate of heat transfer to the sphere? Now the rate of heat transfer, now we want to find, after temperature distribution, second thing is that we want to find the rate of heat transfer. Rate of heat transfer, that's Q. It will be, the rate of heat transfer Q will be equal to area into flux. So that's 4 pi r square, area of the sphere will be 4 pi r square and flux is QR. So you can write 4 pi r square QR. Now this term r square QR, you can write 4 pi C1. because r square q r, you already know it is C1. Let's call this equation 617. So q, now 4 pi. Now you have already the value of C1. So you can write K Ti minus T naught R naught Ri divided by R naught minus Ri. So here you can write Q is equal to 4 pi K, or you can write it like this. You can write first K in the form of Fourier's law. It will be 4 pi R naught Ri, and this will be Ti minus T naught divided by R naught minus Ri. Or you can just rearrange this equation. Let's call this equation 18. So equation 18 can be rearranged as K. I can write it like this: Ti minus T naught divided by R naught minus Ri divided by K 4 pi R naught Ri. So this is the final equation. Let's call this equation 19. So in this equation, if you can see this Ti minus T naught, it is the temperature difference, or I can say it is the overall temperature difference for the sphere. Overall temperature difference, and this term basically here is the thermal resistance for this sphere. This term will calculate the thermal resistance, because always the heat transfer will be equal to always the temperature difference. That is the driving force for the heat transfer, and this the term in the denominator, it will be called as the thermal resistance. That is basically the resistance. So we can say here this is the temperature difference, and this is the thermal resistance for the case of sphere. Thermal resistance will be equal to, for R naught minus Ri, that is outer radius minus inner radius, it will be 4 pi K R naught Ri. So this will give you the thermal resistance for the case of the sphere. So I hope you will like this lecture, and if you like the lecture, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, don't forget to press the bell icon for the future notifications. I will be coming out with more lectures, and please take care of yourself and your family in these times of COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you so much.